What's up everyone, it's Alisa here. Finally we got out of the West Coast, so us Europeans can enjoy live disc golf coverage once more. And I can do some recaps for you, because it's way easier to balance your work and your hobbies when you're not watching things from the West Coast. Enough of me, we're playing at Kansas, Emporia. Of course, it's the DDO, one of the biggest tournaments and one of the most popular tournaments of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. The first round of the FPO side has concluded, and they did some changes to the Emporia course, which is a good thing. Not a whole lot of changes, a couple of holes were completely changed. Was it for better? Time will tell. The first round was an interesting one. There was a lot of heat, which is good. Normally at the Emporia there's high winds. This time the conditions weren't that windy, but it was hot as a sauna. Did that affect the players? I don't know. Maybe it's just because the course is really difficult to play. You need long distance shots and you also need a lot of accuracy. Maybe it was just nerves, but we had a great first round. Before we go to the recap itself, a disclaimer as always, there's gonna be spoilers. And also one thing before we go, a huge story this weekend is the return of Valerie Mandujano. Valerie has been out throughout the season because of an ankle injury, played the first round, and another spoiler, everything went pretty smoothly. You could actually see Valerie was a bit careful with the run-ups and the positioning of her legs, which is a good thing, because the one thing we don't want to happen is Valerie Mandujano injuring more the ankle that might not be completely healed yet. But it's good to see Valerie back, and it's good to see that Valerie can still perform at a really high level, even though she isn't 100%. Let's jump into the round, see what happened, and let's talk a bit more about who did well, who didn't do well. Let's go. Here is where we stand. Hollyn Handley, a lonely number one. -7. An awesome round from Hollyn Handley. Just a few hiccups here and there. And as Hollyn Handley stated in the interview, she just needs to attack the course more, clean up all those bogeys, and she'll do just fine. Double digits easily. Emporia tutors towards those big arms, long distance throwers, and Hollyn Handley is definitely one of those players who can take advantage of the freedom to just throw as far as you can. You just need to be accurate. And Hollyn Handley proved that she, in fact, can stay in bounds and still throw really, really far. Only thing that's holding Hollyn Handley back is her putting. Today, Hollyn Handley's putting was really good, so hopefully she'll just attack the course more, like she stated, keeps her putting going, and she'll do double digits and challenge for the win this year at DDO. Another long distance thrower, number 2, Ella Hansen, one of my favorite players. I knew going into Emporia, Ella will do really well, just because the course tutors towards the style that Ella Hansen, Hollyn Handley has. And also Ella Hansen's putting was on point. Well, the front 9 at least. But after the front 9, Ella suffered a lot at the back 9. So Ella has a bit more to clean, especially in the back 9 part of the course. But Ella Hansen will do just fine. She needs to be calm, collective, have fun at the course, and throw the disc further than anyone else, better than anyone else. Let's just hope Ella's gonna get the first win. Go Ella. Sitting at number 3, as usual, 2 usual suspects. I love that phrase and I use it more than anything else. But Kristin Tattar sitting at number 3, -5, just 2 strokes behind Hollyn Handley, 1 stroke behind Ella Hansen. No surprise there. Well, if you watch the live coverage, it is actually a surprise that Kristin Tattar is in the top 4. Based on Kristin was suffering at an area that she normally doesn't suffer that much, which is Circle 1 putting. Kristin Tattar's Circle 1 putting was, well, I don't want to dance around the term itself, but it was piss poor. Luckily, Kristin Tattar's Circle 2 putting was going really well today. And I think that saved Kristin a lot of bad situations. But overall, Kristin was really inconsistent from the tee, really inconsistent at the putting range. We all know Kristin can do a lot better, and we all know Kristin knows how to win. So Kristin needs to, again, just like everyone else, just forget about round 1, go into round 2 with a new mindset and just perform as she normally does. Kristin will do fine. And Hollyn Handley and Ella Hansen can't rest too easily, knowing that Kristin Tattar is just within 2 strokes of them. Tied at number 3, another usual suspect, which is Missy Cannon. Missy. She's always at the top. As you all know, I've stated this many times, Missy Cannon is one of the most consistent players when it comes to finishes. Again, Missy Cannon at the top, in the top 3. And Missy Cannon's putting was going, but her throwing, approaching, tee shots weren't. But the putting was that saved Missy Cannon this round. And I just think that Missy just needs to tweak her game a little, like throw better up shots, better shots from the tee. Because we know, and Missy knows, and everyone knows who watch the live coverage, that Missy Cannon's putting is working at the moment. So don't do any changes in that area. But as hole 16 showed, you just need to execute those shots you know how to do as well as you can do. Missy Cannon is definitely going to be in the top after this tournament is over. That's guaranteed. I have to give a shout out to Hollyn Handley having one of the best runs. 7 birdies in a row, finishing up the front 9. If she played as well the back 9, she would be in the lead, but that's a lot of ifs, and ifs doesn't win you championships. So Hollyn Handley needs to clean up her play on the back 9 and play the front 9 as better. Even better, you can just take away that 1 bogey on 1, and you would have -8 through 9. Sayananda played an awesome round too. Sayananda had weird problems if you watch Sai play in the previous tournaments. Like, her shots were either too low, too high. Like, they were really inconsistent from the tee. There was a lot of shots that the shot was just an inch too high, hit some tree branches, or an inch too low and hit that high grass. So Sai needs to just, it's an easy fix, just tweak your angles a bit. It's easy for me to say here from Ireland what she needs to do in Kansas. But hey, that's my job, to say how to do things better. Don't do as I do, do as I say. Macy Valadias had a great round too. Macy Valadias can do a lot better because his course tutors towards Macy's play too. Macy could be fighting with Ella and Hollyn. The only thing was Macy didn't execute those birdie putts, those C2 putts. So the putting was keeping Macy back quite a lot. We all know Macy Valadias can throw the disc far. Macy just needs to make those putts, and she'll do just fine. Overall, the first round was an interesting first round, and no one has won yet. It's a really tight-knit group. Anyone can take it. Hollyn Handley, Ella Hansen, even though they had the best rounds on round 1, there's still a lot of players behind them just within a few strokes. So, and Emporia is those courses that you need to be on your toes every time you go to a tee, every time you walk into an upshot, every time you go to the putting ring. You need to be on top of your game, because if you do a mistake on this course especially, that will cost you a lot. As always, thanks for watching. There's going to be interviews from Hollyn Handley and Ella Hansen after this recap, after these few words. Subscribe, hit the bell notification button, like the video and comment down below what you thought about the changes they made in Emporia, especially hole 13. Why hole 13? Well, if you watch the bracket of hole 13, you can see that, there's a lot of bogeys in it. As a matter of fact, not a single birdie. The best shots were par. Is hole 13 good as it is, or does it need changes? Leave a comment down below. Enjoy the interview. See you after round 2. See you guys.
All right, catch up with Hollyn Handley. Hollyn, yesterday you talked about kind of a refresh, a reset. How did you see that in action today on the course?
I think I saw it in the fact that I had no idea what my score was. I just kind of worried about making the next shot, as best as I could. I had a pretty slow start, but in weekends past, I would let that kind of derail my round, and then I was able to, because I stayed in the right headspace, kind of come back and have a good back 9.
Yep. Just overall proud of your play today. Anything you would like to tweak?
I think kind of getting my drives going. They were kind of missing a little bit of that pop and that power that they normally have, and so that cost me a couple OB strokes and left me short in some spots. So I'm going to try to come out the gates attacking the course a little bit more tomorrow.
Yeah, speak on the conditions. Obviously a little toasty out there, but the wind is down for Emporia standards, it seems.
Yeah, definitely toasty. Probably the first time we've really had to deal with heat this year. But, I mean, I'll take heat over just about anything else. Yeah, the wind really wasn't there too much to speak of. There were a couple holes where it got breezy and you had to make a slight adjustment, but nothing major.
We need to hit on the course changes as well. It looked like you played pretty clean through 8 and 9, the traditional hard ones, and then 10, 11, 12 as well. What are your thoughts on those?
I think 10 was a really good change. I think more, it's still technical and difficult, but more of the field will be able to get it. And then I think 11, 12 are really good opportunities for us to score. I think the old hole 10 was kind of a little boring since only a handful of people really had the distance to try and be aggressive, so it resulted in a lot of threes. I think 13, I don't love it. I think it's a weird tweener hole because it's definitely not a par 3 for us, but it's kind of a, I don't know if it's hard enough to really be a par 4, so I think that one still needs a little work. And then I know Eric has some future plans for 18 because that's another one that's kind of a weird tweener.
Got you any adjustments to the game plan tomorrow other than what you've already mentioned?
No, just try to come out of the gate being a little bit more attacking on the course.
All right, that's Hollyn Handley, your clubhouse leader here in Emporia. Under opening round, Ella, I think your weather assessment was hot dog?
Hot dog, yeah.
Pretty toasty out there?
Yes, very toasty, very sweaty, very hot.
We have a new iteration of the course here at the country club. What are your thoughts and what are the challenges?
Yeah, I think overall I really like the changes. There's a couple of holes that just, kind of push the distance a little bit, a little more technical. I really like Missy said, the change on 10. I think that's a really, really fun adjustment. And I think overall I like the changes.
Yeah, it looks like you were one of the only players in the field to birdie 10 and 11. So definitely getting strokes right there on the turn where we saw some scores kind of go sideways. So just overall assessment of your game today. What was clicking and what are you most pleased with?
Yeah, I was throwing the disc well. I was making all my C1 putts. I think the only one I missed was on 18. But I felt really, really good with the putter, really solid. Like I was, there wasn't a ton of wind, but I felt like I was reading it really well for the most part. And my forehand was feeling really good today. I was getting a lot of control and power out of that one.
Nice. A little bit of everything working today in Emporia for Ella Hansen. Thank you.
Thank you.